everyone. We are live from Gallifrey on this Christmas episode special that we are doing. And we have hot chocolate. So cheers to Larry Newville. I'm going to top it with some sugar, chocolate, coffee bean, ginger. I don't know what this is. But we're going to top it off with some extra chocolate. It's not salt.
It could be salt. I don't know.
It's sugar, chocolate, coffee bean, ginger. But also...
I think I got some of the ginger part.
Yes.
Oh, God.
But also cheers to our holiday Christmas special.
Ooh.
Cheers. We also... Yes. Good? I don't know if it's as good as Larry Newville's, but hopefully...
Larry, I think this is much better than yours, man. I'm telling you. I cheers with a little something, something, you know?
Yes.
And they're Doctor Who cups.
We do have our little Doctor Who shot glasses. Or if you're not 21 yet, they are toothpick holders.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Or it could be like some people are like when they have their cocoa and everything like that, sometimes they have like a little bit of cream still on the side.
Oh,
they want to pour it in. Put that in and boop.
Yes.
So a little shot of cream.
So, happy holidays to you all in the chat. Hey, Andrew Johnson and Shay, how's it going?
Hello.
I hope you could come and say hi one of these days, since you're always next door.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good right now.
Edward Sanchez, nice to see you too.
Hello,
we also got some of our own little biscuits. We call them cookies in America.
Biscuits. No, they're biscuits. I'm eating a biscuit, and I love it. That's really bad again. I'm just never going to get it. I'm never going to. I'm trying. Oh, hello, governor. No, it's not. Damn it. All right, someday.
I mean, I'm obviously not the expert.
Can I have some more? Is that
on impressions.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Yours is still better than mine. Like, for instance, okay, do an impression of the doctor.
Hi, I'm the doctor.
Damn it. Like, it's on it.
So good, right?
It's on it.
So good.
God! Jealous. I mean, well, we are here to talk about at least what we have decided to be, arguably, the top 5 Christmas specials that exist for Doctor Who.
And if you have your own favorites, please feel free to put them in the chat.
In fact, I'm going to put something out to you guys. Even beyond the chat, if you can, shoot us an article that tells us what you guys think. Or maybe it doesn't even have to be your top 5. It could be your top 1 if you want, and break it down. But give us for at least the top 3 or 5. And tell us what you think are the top 3 to 5 Doctor Who Christmas specials.
And give us a reason. We need to know why you like them.
Exactly. Because I don't want to just have a list and read a list. Who wants to read a list? I want you to tell me why, because I want you to defend your choice. Because if you don't, I'm going to be very upset. And where should we have them send it? Should we have them at THS or... Okay, actually, you know what's cool? Through the magic of production, it will tell us right on the screen.
Yes.
And you'll find out the same time we do. It's going to be amazing. I love when people do that because it's like, fan theories at that#show.com. That's when you'll go ahead and send them to us. So this way, we'll be able to read them. And, of course, we will publish them.
On our website.
Yeah, if you don't believe it, find out that we actually did recently on Power Rangers for Ray King. Right?
Yes.
That's
Congratulations.
Right. That's right. Congratulations. And you guys can be congratulated too and have yours right there on fan theories at that#show.com. And it will actually show up later on that#show.com.
Where you can share it out to your friends, show that you are a published writer.
Yes.
It'll be super great.
Yes. We can't wait to read them. Trust me. It's always great when you guys do write something because it's great for us to read it. We enjoy it so much. But we are going to go ahead and discuss top 5 Christmas specials. So, with that being the case,
I feel like...
Let's start with one?
Yeah, so the one that we chose is The Next Doctor with David Tennant. And if you happen to know, if any of you are fans of The Walking Dead, we also have the governor on this one. And a way more cheery, less homicidal kind of role for him.
But still, once again, he has to deal with loss.
Yes.
That sucks. And I just, like, one moment for me, I think, what made him so great to have to watch, because when do you not like seeing David Morrissey in something? He's a great actor, but him having to deal with the pain of losing his wife, and then later the dread and the worry of almost having to lose his son, it's like snaps him into reality in that way. But the thing is, his character was so rich.
Yes.
It was so rich, and I actually, like...
I wasn't sure if he was actually the doctor when the episode started out. I didn't know... Wait, are we getting another doctor? How is this going to play out?
Okay.
Wait, and then you start getting these little clues of like, hey, your sonic screwdriver, and I brought my sonic selfie stick for pictures later, but her sonic screwdriver is an actual screwdriver.
Yeah.
What makes it sonic? And he taps on the wall and he was like, this is sonic, right?
Yeah, and
I'm
it's like, dang, he's
like,
right. It is
you're not,
sonic. It makes noise.
but
He's
also
right.
you're not wrong, but I don't necessarily know if you're right. And he's like, my TARDIS. And I was like, his TARDIS is a balloon. And I'm like, okay, but you have an explanation for that too. And okay.
Hot air balloon.
But yeah, and this was such a sad episode. And
It was sad in that way. I love the fact that he had his own companion as well.
Yes.
And honestly, the first 5 minutes before we start to see his sonic screwdriver and everything else,
yes.
I was like, I could see Morrissey as my new doctor.
Yeah, and I kind of almost thought, so by the end we find out that this episode is actually centered around the villains of the Cybermen, and that they are here, I don't know, and I forgot.
Wooden Cybermen.
Yeah, and they also, what I really loved about this is, like, you have the typical Cyberman that wants to delete, not necessarily upgrade in this episode, but, like, you know, delete humankind and be very logical. But also, one of my favorite iterations is, like, the Chewbacca, like, Cybermen, the hairy, fuzzy-looking dog ones with, like, the little brass faces. They are so cute.
For you, cute. For me, menacing. I was like, geez, I'm not okay with this. When I see them on screen, I'm just like
hairy, shaggy things. I'm like, oh, they're so cute. Pet them.
No.
Gonna pet them.
Because they move kind of like apes, but then they stand like men, and you're just,
so
oh, no.
They're
I don't like
so
that at
cute.
all.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God, why do you have them on the screen? I'm freaking out already. I don't know. I can't look at them, but they have copper faces, and that's so cool, but no.
I don't know. I think they're adorable, and I like that. And they're not the typical Cybermen that's like delete. They're kind of like the minions and everything. And I don't know. I really did like this episode.
I will say the great thing about this episode is that I don't like. This is something that does happen when it comes to a Doctor Who Christmas special. There's always an episode where there's always a moment where you're like, all right, well, here goes the drag. Here goes the part that's going to go slow. The part that would have gone slow was the breakdown of what happened to his wife and kids and blah blah and everything else. And that was not a drag. That was like, oh my god,
it was a revelation because you find out as you know the Doctor is finding out about his family, and it was actually really devastating, especially with the Doctor kind of being lost without his companion either in this particular episode. That he also has this sense that at this point he has lost Rose.
Yes.
I believe Donna is already separated from him. Like he has gone through his companions and he is by himself. So the ending of this episode is what really got me when, you know, when the Doctor is just, well, not the Doctor, when Morrissey is just like, hey, no one should be alone on Christmas.
So the question is, seeing it, experiencing it.
Yes.
Did you cry?
I did cry.
Oh, yes.
At the end, maybe, okay, not full on crying, but my eyes did water. Because especially Marcy's like, hey, you've obviously lost someone too. And convinces the Doctor. And the Doctor is very stubborn and very like, no, this is the way it needs to be. I just want to be alone. And the fact that he also having this loss of his wife was like, I really think we should hang out and have a Christmas feast together. Thank you for everything that you've done. You saved Christmas. You are never, no one has ever thanked you for what you did. And he comes out and he's like, yes, thank you, Doctor. Let's cheer for him. And, you know,
that's the thing.
It's sweet.
It's just like, but the thing is, there's this universal message, and it is for both of the Doctors at this time that there's such a thing as loss. And it's like, this other guy had a brush with the Doctor at one time, says, this guy is exactly what I need to be, and says, I will emulate and become this guy that I saw. And then here comes Tennant, who is literally this guy, but maybe a different version of what he saw. I don't know. But it's just
because he was imbued with all the memories. So they had the little canisters that had all of the data, and he was transferring all the data from the Doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he knows,
but
like, your life is filled with sadness and loss. And Tennant's way of, like, you know,
to
he's
deal
like,
with
why?
the loss is to...
But he knows, he's like, you have companions, and why do you not have a companion now? And he's like, I guess he sums it up as, they break my heart for one reason or another, and this is why he's alone at Christmas. And it means a lot for someone to reach out and be like, I see that you're alone, I see that you're sad, and in the spirit of Christmas, please come join us and, you know, be happy and be together and celebrate this time. And I feel like this really does sum up.
It sums up the whole quote-unquote spirit of the holidays.
Yes.
Where it's like, during the holidays is a time where you want to go ahead and be with loved ones. And sometimes there may be an option where it's like, maybe it's not feasible to be with loved ones. Maybe you've lost them. Maybe they can't be there or whatever that may be. But it's like, okay, come with us. let us connect with you. And that's the kind of ideal and feeling, and it was great to see that for the Doctor, who is the eternal traveler.
Yes. And he's not supposed to be alone, and I don't think you should be alone on Christmas. So if you have anyone to reach out, you can always chat with us too on THS hashtaggers.
That's right.
If you feel lonely on Christmas, reach out to us. We will comment back. We will send you good vibes and good Christmas cheer, I hope. But, you know.
No, that's exactly it. So hit us up right there on THS hashtaggers. Communicate with us. So like she said, you shouldn't be alone. So come speak to us and get connected. That's right.
Yeah.
But now
Our
we're
second
breaking that
episode.
one. Yeah, we're breaking up that. Let's go down to the next episode. Which one do you want to do?
How about just Christmas Carol? I've seen a lot of people in this chat where Andrew Johnson's my
Already
number
mentioned
one
it.
is Christmas Carol because it's sad and it absolutely is.
Congratulations! It's what we're going to talk about next.
Yes. And
oh, jeez.
since that came up, and it's good. And Christmas Carol, obviously, this is like the Charles Dickens reference, and we have you know the Scrooge of this episode, who is
Michael Garabon.
It's Dumbledore.
My God. Already a great actor. Like,
Yes.
you know, I mean,
Yes.
stage plays and just everything else. This
Minus
man
the
is
one bit where he's
amazing.
like, Harry, did you put the name in the color fire? And he goes like crazy. That's not in the book. But other than that,
other than
I
that.
absolutely love him.
Other than that, I think, other than that, he is amazing.
Yes.
And I loved it because this episode did so much. We got to see Garabon go through the entire gambit of emotions when it came to it, because when we first see him, this is a man that has experienced loss and
Bitter,
deals with it.
resentful,
Exactly.
has no compassion and no
Oh.
understanding. He is the Scrooge of Christmas.
Oh, God.
And I love how they work in the timey-wimey sci-fi of the Doctor Who
Yep.
show into this, where the Doctor, Matt Smith in this episode, goes and manipulates his past as he's watching it in that present.
Oh,
and
man.
I've never really seen something like this executed well before.
But here it is. Here
Yes.
it is. And you think about it, it's like, yes, that's what the three ghosts did, the three spirits did before.
Yes.
But now the Doctor has to emulate all three. And he has to be able to make sure that, here, let's remind you what it is to feel that loss, but to feel it in a different way than what you did. To
Yes.
truly open your eyes, to experience it. Sometimes loss isn't always something that should hold you back, but it can be something that can propel you forward. And
Yes.
that was it. And forward as far as growth. And that's what we got. And we got to see Yerevan, his character, grow.
Yeah,
All in this
and all
episode.
because of love and compassion that he has this bond as a child, like seeing Abigail and letting her out and singing to the sharks and protecting the town. And I thought, and we find out that she has a critical illness.
Oh.
And that every time she is let out, that her lifespan has become significantly shorter.
Yes.
So every Christmas, they let her out, she sings, and they have this brilliant time on Christmas. And it is up, to our... I can't even remember the character's name off the top of my head because I
That's
just
why
see him as
that's why-
Dumbledore.
Yeah,
But-
right. That's all like Michael Garabon.
we
I'm
have
going to call him by
Scrooge.
his actual name. I was like, I keep forgetting the character's
So
name.
we have our Scrooge, and they have these amazing adventures. And even though at the end where he was like, we can't let her out ever again because that will be her last experience. And I'm like tearing up as I'm thinking about it. But realizes that this is how it needs to be. We need to have this last experience. She needs to come out. She needs to sing. And through loss, you can still experience love.
Yeah. And through that, it was like, she's so brave. Her level of sacrifice.
Yes.
To understand exactly why I have to do this and what I'm going to lose. What is at stake. And there goes a message of no one should be alone.
Yes.
And et cetera, et cetera. To one of, does your life matter more than the mass and blah, blah. And will you sacrifice if you needed to? And for her to understand, yes, I would. Because
Yes.
that's what should be the case. Yes. It's like, the messages that we get on these Christmas episodes that we chose are very powerful.
And it's just the memories and the connections that you have will never die, even though that person is no longer with us, because you've had these experiences and you've shared these emotions and these moments together, that will live on, and you can, have these memories and, like, I don't have words. I'm getting like emotionally caught
I'm
up.
trying to make
We're
sure
like,
that I'm
Christmas
trying to,
Carol. It was so cute, and it's
what
such
I'm
a
trying to do is
crazy.
make sure-
It is still such an. It
was gonna
pulls
say
at
that.
your heartstrings.
I was going to say that, like, even though it is ridiculously goofy at that point with flying sharks and fish, the thing is, it was like everything else was just like, oh my God. This, honestly,
Yes.
I know we're going to go a little bit off, but this, being so goofy and yet so heartfelt, is what I think they really wanted to do when they did Dinosaurs on the Space Shuttle.
Yes, but it did not play out. I do feel like
God.
the Christmas Carol. I think his name is Kazran. What?
There you
Kazran?
go. I think that may be it. I think it is Kazran.
But he learns to love and do this, and Spirit of Christmas. It's super great. And then I saw in here that Matthew Thompson. You were talking about what was it? The Matt Smith regeneration. We did talk about that one a lot about saving Christmas.
Oh boy!
And if you can write an article about why that one is your favorite Christmas episode and send that into THS at that hashtag show. Oh no, fan theories. I'm sorry, fan theories at that hashtag show.com. And if
defend your favorite Christmas episode
and tell us why.
We want to know exactly as to why, because you'll probably find that maybe one of your favorites wasn't on this list, or it may be on the list, but you may have different reasons for why you liked it compared to what we did.
Yeah.
So we want to know, and we want you to give us a little bit more. So definitely give us that more by sending it in to fantheories at thathashtagshow.com.
Yeah.
Now, along with this, with the Christmas Carol episode, I think we've covered as much as we could on that.
Yeah, because we have to get through 5 episodes.
Yes.
So sorry, we could gush about these
hours
episodes for hours and hours, and we talked about it beforehand, and the ones that didn't make the list. So
well, let's talk about one that may have us gear with a lot of conversation. Do you want to do husbands, or do you want to do?
Sure.
Okay.
We can bring that up.
Husbands of River Song. Now, this one was very interesting because it was our goodbye.
It was. And we were talking about, speaking about the Matt Smith regeneration, that he, in that episode, kind of jilted River Song, his wife, the daughter of Amy and Rory Pond, in that episode. And she didn't get a goodbye. So finally we get it with Peter Capaldi.
We do. We got the goodbye that River deserved, and we got it with Capaldi, which I do like because in some ways I feel that there wasn't an actor that would have the gravitas to give her the goodbye that she deserved until Capaldi showed up. And it was interesting, even though it was Capaldi and they didn't really go for it as much as I thought they did. They still got us in the end. They were like, oh no, you guys thought we weren't gonna heartstrings, and then they just hit us as hard as possible with it.
And this caught me off guard because I that King and all these goodbyes taking control, and she was like how she kind of wins her way and gets what she wants, and she was like, oh sweetie, and all of this and all the people that she's kind of brought into her life romantically and kind of conned.
But that's the thing, and that's something that we have to look at as far as the interesting nature that is River Song. River did use love and emotion in a way to get what she wants from these people. So then it brings the question, which a lot of people were thinking about: does River truly love the Doctor?
Yeah, and he even asks, and he's trying to, like, you don't recognize me? How do you not know me? Like, and it's trying to build this kind of relationship, like, hey, this wasn't in the journal, and I know, and it's such a surprise. And you see her kind of being not necessarily promiscuous, but, kind of is, and he's getting jealous, and I love to see the Doctor, especially...
And I'll say exactly what I feel, but yet I can't say what I feel to you. And he understands why, which is, this is my wife, even though I'm meeting her for the first time. I know she's my wife, and you should know who I am. You don't know who I am? You don't know who I am?
I know.
He kept doing that to her, and it was just like, he thought he was doing cute things, and she was just like, what is that? I don't,
like, what's going on?
What is this? What is this? I don't get it. And you can see every time it happened to him, he kind of got upset.
Yeah. Well, he did get upset. He was like, wait, what? Who is that guy? Wait, how do you know him? How do you know? What about me? And so the ending really caught me off guard in this episode.
Oh boy.
Where he is planning and
well, I'm only going to be able to spend one night with you. That's what he tells her.
And it's the last one.
And it's like, but the thing about that one night was that it's like, how long?
24 years, I think.
Yes.
It was a long time, but it is
a lifetime.
But it's their final date together. This is
that was so beautiful.
It's so sweet.
It's one of the sweetest things ever. But I did love it.
And it's a place where they can't get the reservations, and he had planned this like so many years in advance and like orchestrated this just for her. So this final goodbye for River Song, I thought was absolutely brilliant, especially since you were so mad about Smith and Saving Christmas and that generation.
Like deeper introduction to River as far as like Let's Go Hitler, blah blah, and her. We got to see the genesis of River at that point, at that moment from him. It's just like I feel that it would be great when he was saying goodbye to people. It's like, you are one of the most important people in my life as well.
But this
I would like to
actually
come say
proves
goodbye.
it. Like, you had to wait a long time to get this goodbye to River Song.
It was.
But I
That's
think
true.
it was absolutely worth it. And even if you don't know the whole history of River Song and how that worked with like Tennant, Matt Smith, and Capaldi in this episode,
Very true.
I still feel like you will get the emotional impact of this particular
Well, the thing
episode.
is, you appreciate it so much more if you do.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's still a really good episode. And it's just like, it's a love story, and you get to see it all go on in this one episode. You see an epic love story in one episode. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, and like, credit to Moffat, who does a lot of continuity issues, and whether you like him or not,
wow.
that guy can pull at your heartstrings like no other. Like, that's the one thing that he excels at, and I feel like this episode really showcases that.
It does. And at some moments, I gotta say, I may be a sap for like love stories.
Right?
This one,
We all are, I feel like, deep down inside.
And if I am, and you guys hate it, I'm sorry. You should watch it if you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
Because it is a really good episode, and
this is more
gives us
romantic, not so much family, not so much friends, but a Christmas romance.
But I'll say something interesting. It
Yes.
gives us so much insight on the Doctor while trying to initially and only focus on River.
Yes.
Everything that we learn about River is something that we really are sharing and learning about the Doctor
This
at the
is
same
true.
time. And I love that. So it's like, she's his analog in that way. And it's like, this is how much she is. Because she's smart. She's
Yes.
quick. She's quick-witted. She's great on her toes, and she knows exactly how to turn anything on a dime.
Yes.
And so much so that
So
she does it
brilliant.
to the Doctor, I think, at least 3 times in the episode.
Yes.
Where it's like, sweetie, you're not catching up. You're not catching up. You're not catching up. And he was just like, what? And you know that she loved him so much, because ultimately, when it came time to send Nardole with someone,
Yes.
she chooses the Doctor.
Of course.
Because that is my actual husband.
The person that
This
she will
one-
always count on.
Exactly. And she's like, my partner. And I love that, because it does let us know, like, if there ever was such a thing as a true eternal love, this is it.
It really is, especially with these kind of star-crossed lovers where they don't get to share these moments together. They are always passing by,
It's tragic,
and they
but
have
beautiful.
to bump into each other. And it's like, I don't know. This culmination, it gives me feels just talking about it. And like, I do feel like it fits the Christmas theme. It's knowing like how it ends. It
Yeah.
leaves you on a feel-good but very bittersweet kind of.
River is one of my favorite people.
She is. She's brilliant.
Honestly, for me, she's like, in X-Men, you say there's Cable. River is Cable for X-Men.
Okay.
If you think about it that way. She is the child of these two people that are very important to what we understand to be the continuity of, well, in X-Men, it's the continuity of X-Men, Jean Grey and Cyclops. Here goes Rory and Amy Pond. When it comes to Doctor Who, they're very important within that. These two come together and have a child, this child who is taken away by these people, these fanatics. Yes. Once again, in Marvel, it's the Ascani Son. They take that whole thing, the Ascani, and then he becomes the Ascani Son. So that's what I love. So she is like Cable in that way, and that's why I was like, oh, this works out great for me.
Yeah, and I also see here that Ryan Earl Thomas, you're still on season 1. You know, you don't really have to watch the whole series to watch these Christmas episodes. I do think they're brilliant as standalone, but it has more of an impact if you do watch that season with that Doctor.
But remember, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So
it
you
is
can
true.
watch it out of order, and it would actually still be in some level of an order. There's a machete cut for that. How they say you should watch a lot of Doctor Who. Like, if
actually,
you
I kind of want to do. I want to kind of want to watch River in her chronological timeline.
Oh, I love that.
I would love to go back.
You still end in the library.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty much you end in the library, which is a great. That would be a good one. We should try to do that. Maybe during the hiatus, that's what we'll do. We'll probably do the story of River.
Oh, that would be great. I absolutely love her. And, you know, Ryan, if you can watch at least up to this season, that would be great. We have some time to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll do a whole bunch. Oh my God, I love it. That's what we should do. I really want to do that. Okay, we'll see about it.
We're going to work. We're going to try to work it, as you see. But yeah, and Tom Craven, you're talking about Voyage of the Damned. I thought about that for a long time because I also like Kylie Minogue, and she like always won me over. And the chunky couple that won the tickets. Oh my God, I love them so much. But if you can send us an article to fan theories at that hashtag show.com of why you like Voyage of the Damned,
Oh man,
I mean,
and there's a lot.
you're already kind of
you
in the
can-
circle, so I mean, like,
exactly.
we might publish it anyway.
There's a lot. Yeah, like, there's a lot to go on there with that one too. Because
Yeah.
there's breadcrumbs all through it that later things play out when it comes to fruition from Voyage of the Damned.
Yeah.
Like the pilot dude later, how him
Yeah.
and Jack and the whole stuff. That would be a great article. I think you should do it.
And I think you should do it just so you could type out Buffalaka,
yeah,
the guy's name I can't say, but just so we can put that in an article.
Because I will sit there and be like, best article ever, just because you tried to type it out.
Yes.
Because
And
I
then
don't know.
I just want that image of him, like cyborg him, and he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. That was a fun episode, and I do agree with you. That's such a good one.
Oh God, it was great. It was great. So now we're gonna
our
have
fourth
to go.
episode.
Yeah. Which one do you want to do?
Let's do the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Boom. Okay. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Such a fantasy episode. I mean, they're really good with working in the sci-fi. If you haven't seen this one, there's a lot of Groots. If you've ever watched Guardians of the Galaxy and you like Groot, you should watch this episode.
There's
a lot of Groots.
There's the force of Groots, man. Force of Groots. And this episode was really underrated because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and that's it. But if you really take the time to review it, that episode is good. It's got heart. It's got heart, man. Oh, jeez.
And they started off and they did kind of a time jump where, I want to remember Midge?
Is it Midge or Madge?
I think it's Madge.
I think it's Madge.
So we have Madge, and she encounters the Doctor, never sees his face, and this was like, early in the beginning, and helps him out on, I believe, Christmas Eve. And it's like, it's Christmas Eve, I will help you get back to your TARDIS. Don't worry about it. And 3 years later, the war breaks out. Her husband is a fighter pilot.
Yep.
And we find out
he wants to be home for Christmas.
yeah,
man.
and the whole thing is I will be home for Christmas.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, she gets a telegram saying that he's been lost, and she can't break it to her kids. And this is already like such a devastating setup for this mother to have to kind of hide this and protect her children from this information because she doesn't want their Christmas ruined for the rest of their lives. Which
it's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And this episode rings true to me in so many ways. I know if a lot of you don't know, we're going to pull it back a little bit. I lost my father around like Christmas time. And so imagining how tough it is for a parent to be able to tell their child, Daddy's not coming back. Daddy's gone, and Daddy's gone on Christmas. And it's tough. It's tough. And I would not wish that on anyone. And to see her to be as strong as she is and as strong as she continues to be for her children is amazing to me. So much so that her love saves the world, man.
it really is.
Dude, it's the
She's
strength
so
and the
fun.
love of a parent for their children in
And
any
it's
way.
it's the power of being a mother, like the mothership, Mother Nature, and all of this being able to take everyone in, to care for everyone, and try to take them further than they would go normally. And
Definitely.
There's like a moment in here where, she's yelling at Matt Smith because he's just like showing all these crazy things and wonderful, brilliant things. And he was like, the kids are like, you don't have to shout. Yeah, we'll go downstairs. And Matt Smith is like, why are you like this? Is it because you know how sad they're about to be?
Yep.
I was like, oh, and we know, and that's kind of like the irony of this whole thing as the audience. Like, we know what's going on, and we also want to protect these kids.
And it was great because I don't feel that any of the other doctors could deliver the line the way he did.
Yeah.
Because Matt does this whole thing where he's rather cherubic, where it's like, okay, I am this. Like, remember we talked about, I am this God that chooses the face of a child.
Yes.
And it was like, still, nonetheless, he does it where he's like, sometimes the obvious is the thing that always escapes him. And he's just like, I don't understand it. So he's like, are you doing this because you're worried? And it's just like, it's a beautiful way that he delivers it that I don't feel another doctor could have done it.
And I feel like
it was
setting
done
up
with
for the
care.
kids too, like creating that house as brilliant as it was, with the Christmas tree, with the hammocks, with like all of, and like this giant present that he is excited for them to open on Christmas, knowing that what Madge is going through, she makes the wish. He hears it and he comes and he's trying to be this caretaker to finally take care of not only the kids, but also her a little bit, being like, you helped me out 3 years ago on Christmas Eve. I owe this to you.
I owe it to you.
And not even owe out of obligation, but because he wants to. And that's the kind of man that he wants to be.
And I love that.
Yeah, the helmet backward. This is why, like, she doesn't recognize him. She never saw his face, which is, this was such a silly opening, and it doesn't even lead you doesn't even begin to be like, oh man, this is a depressing episode.
Yeah.
But it's not. This is one of the few that ends actually legitimately happy.
It does. And that's the thing about it. So it's just like, it's a beautiful episode. It's well written. The acting from every character, the children, even the children.
Yes.
It's not say especially, but even the children. It was good. I know a lot of people always say like they don't like it. For example, Matthew. Matt's one of the ones that says, yeah, I don't like it. I didn't love it. And it's like, I challenge you to take a moment to truly review the episode after the way we're discussing it and see if you see those same things. They ring true.
Well, he doesn't not love it. He says he's never seen this one. So if you haven't seen it,
like it, I don't love it.
Oh, just kidding. Oh, never mind. Yeah, see this one. I am a slow reader. I'm a few comments behind. I mean, it's good, and it has the fantasy aspect, especially for a family show that appeals to like kids and adults. I feel like this was a solid Christmas episode.
Oh, yeah.
And because it ended actually happy, where you find out that the dad is alive because of the I definitely cried in this one. I cried a lot or whatever. And at the end, he, they invite him to Christmas dinner. He's like, no, I actually have somebody else to see. And he shows up at the ponds, and Amy, bless her heart, always waiting, has always set a table for him, a place for him at the table.
Yep.
And he turns around, and before he closes the door, he's like, I'm crying.
I'm crying.
He didn't say it, but it's just like, oh. And it's the end of the episode,
Happy
and I
tears,
feel like,
man.
It's something that I feel like he's never experienced before. And this is the first time that we see him, like, humanized in a way that he wants to experience. Like, oh, happy crying. I don't understand what that is. And yes.
He gets the real feel. He gets the real
Christmas.
touch. And it's like, and I love that. And I love that so much. That's why I was like, this episode is, to me, like I said, it's very important, that whole thing about the whole Christmas and, the missing of the father, but yet he does show up, and it was like, oh, man. And, boy, it gets me, and I always said this, like, they get the Christmas they deserve, and it's beautiful in that way. And it was just like, yeah, once again, no one should be alone on Christmas, blah, blah, be with a loved one, and that's exactly what happened for everyone. So it was a great ending, and it was a great Christmas for them.
It's one of the few that ends, I feel like, happy for everyone, where there's not a major loss. And that's the reason why we picked some of these episodes as well, because we were kind of going through them, and some of the ones that we didn't pick are just, they were a little dark for a Christmas episode, and we felt like they just aired it on Christmas and kind of gave it like a really like superficial Christmas overlay, but it wasn't like a genuine heartfelt Christmas episode.
Definitely. Oh boy. And with that, I think that brings us to our last one.
Yes, and I feel like this is finally a regeneration one. We talked about doing different regeneration Christmas episodes because we were going to do Tenet, but that was a 2-part special, so I didn't feel like that really fit into our one Christmas episode, kind of thing. Yes, okay. The most grumpy old man. This is the theme of this one. The most grumpy old man Christmas episode.
Oh boy, it definitely is. It's just like, oh boy, it's like the weird like odd couple thing, but just them, because it's the same person.
It's the first Doctor, and we have our 12th Doctor, and I feel like this one did really set up, Jodie Whittaker's entrance of being the first female Doctor, because you see kind of a lot of the old thinking, a little more chauvinistic mentality that might have been around.
At moments where he was like, he would just give the meanest side eye to Bill and just look at her like, you don't know nothing. You know nothing because you're a woman.
And I was just like, whoa. But
I'm gonna step off here because Bill's about to punch a man. Like, it literally, Bill's like, I'll send you into a heart attack. Like, I promise you I will today.
But I like Capaldi's like kind of shock at it. She was like, was that me?
Capaldi is running as hard as possible to stop her from doing it at every moment. Like, he'd say something to her, like, almost it was like, shouldn't you be washing dishes? It was something like that.
Yeah,
and he was like, oh, that way. Go there.
He was like, distraction. Like, trying to get away.
God. Oh, it was hilarious on so many levels. How he was just going at her, and they were going back and forth, and she was just teaching him stuff. Oh, that's funny. I like women too.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And he was like, and then he had to take himself away from her.
But it's funny because you look at them and they're both like very kind of old men. They're the same person. It's a weird kind of disconnect. And when you think about it, you're like, Yeah, female companion, at like a lower level. But it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it is to set up Jodie Whittaker's entrance. But even more so than that, I love this one for the Christmas theme just because of the historical reference of, like, during World War I, that this battle is going on.
Yeah. Oh my God,
And
the ceasefire. Ceasefire on Christmas.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I was like, I had to look up stuff and look. I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Because with all of this kind of, male, old school mentality, and with war going on, you would not think that this could be a Christmas episode.
Yeah. And it still was. It still was. And this is probably out of all the ones we picked, the least Christmassy, even though it takes place on Christmas.
No, but it's showing that in the midst of war and that these people have different views, they might be fighting for different reasons, that on Christmas they can take a break, come together, help each other out, sing some carols, and celebrate Christmas Day together.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is absolutely brilliant.
And Matthew Thompson says it. I was just going to say, like you just said, it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant choice to have David Bradley play the first Doctor.
Yes.
Like we just had him play the first Doctor on that special and everything else that was going on. So it just made sense. Like now he's established in a lot of people's head as, if I had to see a first Doctor, I would love to see that guy the first. And then when they were like, guess what? You're gonna see it, and it happened. I literally was like, oh my God!
Yeah, and it's super exciting. And the so dynamic between this and between like the old and new Doctor Who, how they're talking about like, I don't like what you did with TARDIS. I don't like what this. I was like, why are you doing it this way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of tongue in cheek with the fandom too, being like, I like the old Doctor Who. It's like, no, the new Doctor Who.
This is horrible. What is this? Oh, this is bad. And he was like, well, sometimes with growth comes change. And he kept having to tell himself that. And that was the best part. The best student is also the best teacher at moments. Yes. And that's where it was. It was like, who else is better to teach me than me? And that was great. I love that.
And it's kind of true, too, that, like, you would, there's this question that always comes up is, like, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self? And only you would know what would appeal to you. So I feel like this is so great that he is there and he's like, I understand where you came from. Obviously, I was you.
Yeah.
But we need to grow and change. And I feel like also about fandoms, like, or just war and everything, like, arguing, like, does it really matter?
That's something
Can we
I did
like
love.
just put aside our differences for a little bit and just appreciate that we're all human beings, we're all here together, and just
But you hit it on the head when you talked about it. It also has an underlying commentary concerning the fandom, because there's a big thing sometimes, almost a great divide between New Who and Classic Who.
Yes.
And some people are like, Classic Who is great and it's amazing. New Who is horrible. Everything they try to do is all fancy and shiny and blah blah, but there's no substance. And it was like, this is what we got when the old Doctor got on the new TARDIS, and he was like, what is this? Why? Blah blah. And then they get into his TARDIS, and he's like, oh, this is so basic. What's blah blah. And it was just like, no, learn to appreciate the past so that you can enjoy the future. And that's the whole thing.
Things change, and that's the whole thing with the whole Doctor philosophy of him having these regenerations. Is
change.
Change.
The only constant in the universe is change.
Yes.
So be ready for it and accept it and see exactly where you can go with it. Don't allow it to take you. Learn to embrace it.
Yes.
And that's something that a message that needs to go through for the fandom, and that was a way to actually deliver that.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it so much. It was great. It was
great. It brought me these emotions, and even though it was kind of tongue-in-cheek with all of this and trying to lead up to, just a bunch of butting heads and ideals and everything else, that this ending kind of meant the most to me. Like, it... Especially like during war and you're fighting for whatever ideals that you have or for whatever reasons, to see them stop, to pause time and to come together and to sing, I was like, this is Christmas. I loved it. Cried.
Man. Do we have any time for honorable mentions? We won't have pictures for them.
We won't. But, I mean, our producer, I'm sure, could pick him up. And then also, Donnie Pearson, you're talking about the 50th anniversary, like, team-up special. I hope we can do an episode on that one, too, because I love that.
Oh.
So explain to them why the Christmas Invasion did not make your list.
There you go. That's why I was asking for honorable mentions.
All
so,
right.
Christmas Invasion. Okay. Christmas Invasion.
With Rose Tyler.
Is a bad episode until the last 15 minutes.
Well, it's our first introduction to David Tennant.
Yes,
So
it
Eccleston,
is.
he is gone. He is regenerated.
Yep.
And we have Rose, and we have Jackie, and we have Mickey, and we have David Tennant, who is out cold for the majority of the episode.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, I do not like Rose Tyler. Not a popular opinion.
No. So the problem is, it's like, great, here goes Rose and everyone else, and they're all bickering, and pretty much the common word that we hear from every character at one moment is, shut up. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, great. So that's what we're going to do for most of the episode? Yeah, it was.
They just all yell at each other, and they bicker, and especially Rose in the Christmas Invasion. And I know she's a fan favorite, but it's like she comes off so self-centered. Where Jackie is like, her mother is like, I don't know if she's home for Christmas. I hope she comes home. And she comes and she's like, I got this guy. Like, don't talk to me. You don't understand. I've been on adventures and you just don't know anything. And Mickey, too, they're going out for a Christmas holiday. And all she does is talk about the doctor. And Mickey is like, hey, I understand that you love this man and you've gone on adventures, but can you be present with me?
I'm right
today?
here. Yeah. He's like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I am here with you right now, and he is not. So can you at least be here with me in the moment? No, it's the doctor. The doctor. And I'm like, you know what? Now I see why everybody wanted to leave you alone. Now I see why a lot of fans don't like you. Because you are a horrible person. You don't appreciate anything.
A lot of fans love her. And
a lot of fans do like her. I like her. I like her as the moment.
Same. In that 50th anniversary episode that Donnie Pearson just mentioned.
Yeah, the 50th anniversary. I love her as the moment. I don't like her in this moment that we're talking about because she was a horrible person. That's it.
Yeah.
Stone Cold B word. I don't like her.
Yeah, like I don't like that kind of I don't feel like that encapsulates the ideals of Christmas about family and love and everything else.
It's not a good example of what a companion is.
Especially at the end when the Prime Minister kind of like murders that whole alien race
with
like genocide. That was not Christmassy to me.
Oh, look, it's Christmas. Put your tongue out. Oh, it tastes like ash. Yeah, it is. Everyone's dying and burning. So it wasn't good.
I feel like the progression of Christmas episodes have gotten better over the years. So, for Ryan, who's still on season 1, if you don't necessarily connect with any of these characters, please know that it gets better. Or at least in our opinions, it does get better.
That's horrible that's a phrase that people have to say now concerning Doctor Who.
Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Oh, boy. Well, we can say also another episode that we said wasn't good, and I don't even want to talk about it really. Runaway Bride wasn't good. The end. There you go. So moving on, another one.
I love Donna. That didn't make our list. I know. Well, do you want to do a quick run through of the rest of the Christmas specials?
That's what I'm like. I'm just like, look, Runaway Bride wasn't good. I felt that the acting was very hammy. It was the return of Christmas robots, and Donna was just really annoying on that one.
She was, and she's my favorite companion now, but in that episode I did not like her.
But yeah, let's run through a quick list.
Yeah, and then we had Voyage of the Dam, which we kind of talked about, and we actually did like that.
I love Kylie Minogue, guys.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is, na, 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 can't sing the song because copyright infringement.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And then we already talked about the End of Time, part 1 and 2.
Come on.
That was a 2-episode thing, so we're not putting that on our Christmas list just
that
because of that reason, but we love Tennant's extra long goodbye. I couldn't do because of Clara. And the reason why we also didn't pick this one because it did not end Christmassy.
No.
She died.
And it sucks because it was the good version of Clara.
It really was.
Finally, because I'm in that group that says who? Clara who?
I like Clara. I think she's so cute, though.
See?
I love her outfits and her style.
I don't. And a while she gets annoying. She really gets annoying to me, and she becomes this little know-it-all. And then
that's
she
like
had
Capaldi,
to turn
though.
around.
But I thought with Smith she was okay.
Well, that's the problem. Why would we change this character from someone that we all enjoyed? Someone that was like, oh, wow, okay, we're embracing, we're digging. And then when she gets to Capaldi, she becomes selfish. She becomes so centered only on, oh, well, this is the doctor that I remembered, and I hate this other one. Kind of sounds like Rose. But in also, my opinion,
it didn't make sense either because Clara has spoilers. Clara has known the Doctor throughout his entire timeline, has been helping him out. So it's like she should kind of know how he is.
Exactly.
All the time,
but we did set up some great things, some breadcrumbs on that one. We got the Great Intelligence. Yes. And we got Sir Ian McKellen as the voice of the Great Intelligence. And then setting that up later when we get the Great Intelligence as our big villain. Yes. That was huge later for something else down the line. Yes. And it still did connect with Clara. So it was like, oh, dovetail. And that was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
moving on from it.
And then we kind of talked about the time of the Doctor, and that was the Matt Smith regeneration episode.
right,
And
that's right.
he did save Christmas, but again, that was a downer, and for reasons that Daniel had mentioned, that River Song did not get her goodbye, which is why we didn't necessarily do that one. Even though that was good, and it was weird seeing Smith old and like devoted to this cause, which I thought was very Christmassy. But
the whole part was so great. Like I said, my part that I didn't like, and we had a real full-on argument about it. Honestly,
yeah, we did.
Where it was like,
before this aired.
honestly, if you guys want a brief preview of it, it was like this: you're stupid and you're wrong. I'm sorry I'm saying it, but no, I don't feel that. No, I'm playing. We didn't do it like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was an argument of like, no, but what do you mean? That's not a good episode. And the only reason I feel it's not good is because we didn't get to say goodbye to River. And it was like, well, yes, Daniel, the reason we didn't say goodbye to River was because we
got a future episode. But if you want to fight us on this, and if that was your favorite, if that's your favorite Christmas episode, and you want to fight us, send us your article to fantheories@that#show.com, and we will get it published on that#show.com.
Yes.
Please send them in, because we love Christmas, and we still have like another week before the Christmas holidays and everything. So please send those in.
Put a whole Christmas
whether you like
together.
it or you don't like it. Like you could talk about the worst Christmas episode, which I think is the one with Rose, but don't want to bias your opinion.
Yeah.
So,
we don't want to, we don't want to judge your opinion, but we think that episode was horrible. But yeah. Whatever your heart makes you go on and write about, but Rose is horrible.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why we didn't pick The Last Christmas either. It's another Clara-centered Christmas episode. A whole thing about discovering Santa Claus and be like, you don't exist, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, Clara, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut it up, Clara.
Oh, no, but they're face huggers. They're face huggers and blah, 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 yada, yada. You know what, Clara? Shut up.
See, Matthew Thompson. We really want you to write that article, but it's okay. Life is hard when you're
Doctor
popular. You have a lot of
Christmas
stuff to do.
But
We
I
get
agreed.
it.
I needed River. Yeah, well, see, there you go. You should just write a whole article on why you needed River in it and why you felt that it was wrong.
But send
if you
it
got
anyway.
a moment. If you got a moment.
So fantheories@that#show.com. And we already talked about the Husbands of River Song.
Yep.
And we talked about Twice Upon a Christmas, which leaves the last episode is the return of Dr. Mysterio, which was a fun comic book kind of.
It was fun.
It was fun, but it wasn't.
It wasn't really a good episode.
It wasn't. It didn't really feel like a Christmas episode. The thing is, it was a good episode, and they try to put a Christmas overlay, very superficial.
Yeah.
It was a decent episode, but compared to, I feel like the top 5 on our list didn't really encapsulate that Christmas vibe and feeling and the heart.
I agree. And you know what? If you guys didn't like our top 5, I want you guys to be able to give us yours in the fan theories, like we said, and go to fantheories@that#show.com and break down exactly why you guys think your top 5 is probably better than ours.
You don't
Fight
even need
me.
to do 5. You can do 3. That way you don't have to write so much.
You can do 3 to 5, but just argue with us, guys. Tell us exactly why your top 5 is better than our top 5.
And we'll
'cause ours is
discuss
better
it,
than yours.
next week, and we'll read it on the show. We'll get it published on that #show.com and share it out to all of your friends.
Exactly. So, tell everyone where they can find you.
I am Elle Tea on Instagram and Facebook, and
I am Battlestalker Black on Instagram and also on Facebook, but you can find me on Twitter at that #BSG. So with that, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe to stay up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture.
cheers.